Prime Minister, Bush said lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians could happen this year. While speaking at a press conference with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas on Thursday, Bush responded to a question from Al-Jazeera about why the United States doesn't push Israel to accept UN resolutions. Well, Bush had this to say.
Look, the UN deal didn't work in the past, and so now we're going to have an opportunity to redefine the future by having a state negotiated between an elected leader of the Palestinian people as well as the Prime Minister of Israel. This is an opportunity to move forward. I'm confident that two democratic states living side by side in peace is in the interests not only of the Palestinians and the Israelis but of the world. The question is whether or not the hard issues can be resolved and the vision emerges, so that the choice is clear amongst the Palestinians. The choice being, do you want this state or do you want the status quo? Do you want a future based upon a democratic state, or do you want the same old stuff? And that's a choice that I'm confident if the Palestinian people are given, they will choose peace. And so that's what we're trying to do, sir.
We want the state, of course.
Yeah.
Well, during his press conference with President Bush on Wednesday, Israel's Prime Minister Ehud Olmert said Israel would stop settlement activities, but with some exceptions.
They know that there is a moratorium on new settlements and a new expropriation of land in the territories. But they also know, and we have made it clear, that Jerusalem, as far as we are concerned, is not in the same status. And they know that the population centers are not in the same status. And there might be things that will happen in the population centers or in Jerusalem, which they may not be in love with, but we will discuss them and we will not hide them.
Well, we're joined now by our guests, three Palestinian and Israeli artists and writers. First of all, Iman Aoun, she's an actress and artistic director of the Ashtar Theatre here in Jerusalem. Also, Itamar Ben Cnaan, cultural editor of Ha'ir newspaper in Tel Aviv, and Samih Jabarin, a Palestinian filmmaker from Jaffa. Thank you all for coming here. If I could start with you, Samih. If I could flatter all of you a little bit in the beginning and refer to you as the cultural ambassadors, the visionaries of societies, do you feel inspired, Samih, by the message which George Bush has brought to this region?
I think the message of George Bush is not new for us, the people of Palestine, the peoples of the poor countries and the occupied countries. The message of George Bush is, and he said that himself that day, whether you're with us or you're against us. The whole thing about the peace process is for me a joke. And everyone,
it's a joke?
It's a joke.
Why is it a joke?
Because what George Bush is saying since he arrived to the country is the Palestinians should do that, should do that, should do that, should do that, and Israel is not asked to be obliged to do anything. So I think that the original reason for this visit at all is something more original than the Palestinian case. The Palestinian case has been instrumentalized for the sake of attacking, probably in the very next future, Iran.
All right, well, before we get into too much deep politics there, I want to bring in Itamar. Do you agree that perhaps the message has missed the mark, is what Samih is saying?
Yes, I do, but I must say that I'm a bit shocked from Samih, because he said, he said, we in Palestine, and if I'm not mistaken, you're an Israeli citizen.
But I'm still Palestinian. And I'm a proud Palestinian.
But if you're
we're getting
proud,
off to a really fiery start here from the beginning.
No, it always seems so awkward to me that citizens of Israel who are getting all the things that Israeli culture and way of life can offer them, and have every freedom they wish to, by religious freedom, everything. They are the same citizens. They are the same citizens. They are the same citizens like me. They don't have to go to the army. They don't have to serve the country in any sort of way. But still, they are proud Palestinians. So if you are so proud Palestinians, why you don't move to live in Ramallah and be proud Palestinian over there?
All right, I want to bring
okay, so Al-Fahim is also Palestine, and Jaffa is also Palestine.
Right, let's not get bogged down too much in the politics. You said something that was interesting there, is that the Palestinians who are enjoying the cultural rights. Now, you're an actress, a leading figure, you could say, in the cultural scene. Do you agree with that analysis? Tell me a little bit about your cultural rights, your cultural role.
Well, first of all, I don't agree with what Itamar was saying, because in the end, how we look at our country, we see that Palestine has an entity, a historical entity, and Palestinians, whether they are living in the occupied territories in '48 or whether they are living in the States, they are still Palestinians, and therefore we call ourselves Palestinians.
Palestinians when there was Ottoman Empire.
Sorry, I did not interrupt you when you were talking. So the thing is, the problem really lies in the fact that the Israelis do not want to appreciate the fact that they have came to a land full of people, and they were called Palestinians, and they occupied it, and they claimed it their own, and they pushed the people out, and to a point they have emptied almost two-thirds of the country. When
there are more Arabs here than the Jews. Well,
no.
Why you have this thing to rewrite the history in a way that has no connection to real issues?
I want to ask you a question. Let's put aside the historical arguments, but look at the big picture of this.
It's a bit impossible when you come to talk to.
Let's look at the bigger picture,
about historical, and the Palestinian has invented themselves. As a nation, the moment the Jews came to Israel to build their own land, which belonged to them for ages.
Right.
The Palestinians decided that they are a nation. They didn't. All the years of the Ottoman occupation, there was no nation, no rebellion against the Sultan.
I do want to jump in here. Let's not get too carried away.
When the Jews come,
let's take a step back. Right, you've made your point.
An anti-Jewish thing.
You've made your point. Let's look at the bigger picture, though. I don't want us to get too bogged down into arguing about history. Clearly, the bigger picture for me is that there is a deep cultural divide, and I don't think that's a surprise for anyone, but the way in which all of you relay history, does that need to be reconciled, whether it's through your articles or through your... Let's let Itamar speak for a second.
Because when you talk about Palestinian Israelis, Arabic Israeli citizens, I think they enjoy culturally something far more better than in any Arabic country. There are no intellectuals in Arabic country that can say and do the things that they can say and do in our country.
Okay, but my question, Itamar, is, as people who live here, do you both need to reconcile your visions of the past as well, of whether there was a Nakba, a setback for the Palestinians, whether on the other side...
Of course, if we won't put aside the past and try to compromise, something that obviously the Palestinians are not able to. But if we will be able...
Israelis.
No, but we withdraw from Gaza, we've done things that you guys will never do. And everything that every compromise and every gesture that the Jews, the Israeli side is doing, we get back terrorist attack, rockets. Right. This is the only stuff what we get back from the Palestinians.
Sorry, I have to say one thing. First of all, history is always written by those who are the winners and by those who are in power, and therefore there are lots of forgery in your history. And because you have written it, because because you won this
You
war.
haven't written your history, rewrite your history.
Now we are trying at least
You
to be...
invented yourself as a nation.
No,
there
we
was
did not
no
invent.
Palestinian nation.
You
Never.
invented
Until
yourself as well.
Okay,
No,
And the whole
we were
world said,
always
okay,
a nation.
Let's
no, you were
have
not.
a bit of a
if you
reality
won.
check.
You are a religion, you're not a
Right.
nation.
Okay, let's
You don't.
perhaps
You
take...
can't tell me what